And we are live. How's everybody going? How's everybody doing? Can you see me? Can you hear me? All right. Hey, everybody. Okay. I think in terms of technical things, everything is working. Is Brandon still streaming? The Hawk's Nest? Is he still streaming? And Buffalo makes the field goal. So they go into half 24-7. I'm feeling pretty good. Okay. Okay. So, the Seattle Seahawks played a game today at home against the New York Giants, and overall, you'd say it was a very successful game. The defense was excellent. They stopped the run really well against a really good running team. They were able to cash in on some big negative plays like sacks. They lost their key pass rusher in Darrell Taylor early, and they didn't have much of a pass rush the rest of the game, but they found a way to get it done anyway. Their secondary played great. So that side of the ball really coming together. It's been all about the fronts. When we're getting three men on the front, good things are happening. When we're getting the opposing teams into obvious passing situations, we go to the two-man front. We got something. So nothing but rave reviews for the defense, really. Except Ryan Neal and Darrell Taylor got hurt at the end of the game. I'm hoping it's nothing serious. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But the defense, they have played dominant football over the last 3 weeks. Like, not just good, dominant. This defense has been absolutely dominant. Offense, I think the interior of the offensive line got beat up a little bit. I didn't love the way they played. Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence seemed like they had their way with them. There were struggles. Geno got outsmarted by a blitz a couple times. He had the one play where he got completely blindsided from the front side. He just didn't know the blitzer was going to be there. That might have been Travis Homer's fault. That's possible. But yeah, that was oh, excuse me. Yeah, sorry. But anyway, I think that the offense still played a pretty good game. I thought Geno did totally fine. He missed a few throws, but Geno played really well. He had some drops that didn't help the cause. He used his legs well. And overall, I think the Giants' defense just did a really good job making life hard for him and not giving him easy throws. Really managing to shut down the run, shut down our offensive run game without compromising themselves in any other way. They still were able to get good pass rush. They were still able to cover receivers. It felt like our receivers struggled to get open sometimes. Tomorrow, drop top. It's going to be tomorrow. Probably during the Monday Night Football game. Oh, awesome skills, you were there. So, Metcalf played a good game, which is good to see. We got him utilized early and often. Um, I I uh, I know Lockett kind of had the game from hell, but still managed to produce, still managed to get involved, still managed to do positive things for the team, and yeah, I'm gonna tip my hat to that Giants defense more than anything here. The only pieces of this offense that I feel like maybe need to be a little bit better would be the interior of the offensive line. But other than that was good, and special teams was clean, and that ended up being huge because New York special teams were a disaster. Us winning the special teams battle was most of the game. Overall, well coached game. I liked the play calling. There were some creative play calls from Waldron early with the direct snap to Walker. You had the pitch, the shovel pass to Disley. You had the play where Lockett lined up as a running back in the backfield and caught a pass on fourth down. So life is good right now, man. Life is good. You're 5-3. You're leading the division. You're going to have an opportunity to gain more ground in your division later in the year when you play the Rams twice and when you play the Niners again. And you're showing that you belong as one of the better teams in the league. All right. So, all that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and start opening it up to the chat a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and start answering some questions in the chat. The rules are, as they always are, I'm basically just going to sit here for the duration of this Sunday Night Football game and turn off the stream when it's done and probably jump on Twitch. By the way, I should be on Twitch tonight, for those of you wondering. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can. I will miss some because of volume, because we're going to get a lot of people in here probably. So if you have a comment you really want me to see, the best way to guarantee it is to super chat it or tip it in. Those are also the best ways to support the channel. You can do so by clicking the $ in the chat or clicking the link in the description or doing ! tip in the chat. Channel members are somewhat more likely to have their comments seen, read, and addressed just because visually it pops out to me more. So so you can become a channel member. We also have gifted channel members on the channel now, by the way, so you can actually gift memberships to random users in the chat, and they can choose to claim it or not. We've done it before. It works. It's actually kind of cool. But yeah, like the stream if you haven't already. If you look over to our left, you can see some goals for the stream. And it is the second to last day of October, so we are right on the verge with our October sub goal. We need, I think, 32 more. And we need 4 more for the members goal. All right, so now that's all out of the way, let's take a look at some of these comments here. Calvin Mace, they signed Bruce Irvin 3 games ago, and the defense has been great in the last 3 games. What impact is Bruce Irvin having on this team on and off the field? I mean, it's certainly something. Yeah, I look, one of the things that's cool about Bruce Irvin is he's a guy who learned how to play the run. Early in his career, he was like Darrell Taylor. He didn't know how to play the run. So now we bring in Bruce Irvin, and it seems like these guys are playing the run a lot better. It can't be a complete coincidence. There has to be something going on there in a positive way. So if he's having that kind of an impact, it's believable. I still think schematics are the main thing. Chase turned crazy how tough DK is. Yeah, did you guys notice any issues with him playing today because of the injury? Did anybody notice like any issues where he wasn't as fast as he should have been, or he didn't make a play he otherwise would have made? I don't think so. So no problems there. Michael, I believe our next 5 games are all very winnable. Do you agree? I feel like Tampa Bay is still a bad matchup, but we might win. We absolutely could win, so I'm going to say sure. I don't think we will, but I think we'll be in the fight. Eugenio Ryan Neal's injury is said to just be hamstring cramps. All right, that's good news. That's great news. That is a big-time relief. We need him out there. The downgrade to Josh Jones is shockingly massive. Alexander, I feel like he played less snaps than usual, but outside of that, not really. Yeah, I didn't notice a big difference in terms of the way he was playing. Drop top, what if we keep Geno for 1 more year and then draft Caleb Williams next year? Well, how are you going to get the #1 overall pick to get Caleb Williams? First of all. Second of all, how are you going to get Geno Smith to agree to a 1 or 2 year deal after the season he's having? With the season he's having, he's going to want 3 years minimum, and that makes things kind of hard. Jeff Lowe, Pete said it was cramps on both hamstrings during his press conference. Is that why he left the game, went back in, and then left again? Austin, the ball was bound to bounce against Giants at some point. They've been getting all the breaks until this game. They have. It's not like they didn't get breaks today, by the way. I mean, they lost just because of football. Nothing crazy fluky went against them. I mean, like the punt returner fumbled twice, but we forced the fumbles. Jeff Lowe, one hamstring, went back in and got it on his other hamstring. Yeah, that's what I figure. Jarhead, if we have all our offensive pieces in Germany, DK, Lockett, O-line starters, Homer, I think we win the game. Remember, we're going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage because the game's going to be played at 6:30 our time, but 9:30 Tampa time. Somebody pointed that out earlier this morning. The East Coast team has a massive advantage when the games are in London. 12:30 media group. Shane was on it this game with the play calling. Yeah, we did some creative like Andy Reid type stuff. Like the shovel pass to Disley was straight out of the Travis Kelsey playbook, and it worked. Usually when we do stuff like that, it doesn't work at all, but it worked. Right guy, the game's going to be in Germany. I understand that, right guy. I know. What I'm saying is that when we play the game, our time, our bodies will feel like it's 6:30. By us, I mean the players, and their players are going to feel like it's 9:30 a.m. That's a little bit easier to deal with. Drop top thoughts on Levis after yesterday's game. I mean, it's a bad game, but I mean, I still really like him, but I think it's time to accept that he's been surpassed by a couple of prospects here. Tony, the shovel pass to Disley was awesome. Yeah, it was. Plays like that, they're just an automatic 3 to 5 yards if you know how to execute it. And it's really, really an advantage to have a offense that is capable of running it. So if we're developing an offense that is capable of running the shovel pass, then a, that's a phenomenal short yardage play. Now, I don't totally trust our interior offensive line to hold up the way we might need it to, but I like the concept there. Tony, I really liked the K9 touchdown. It looked like he was going down a couple times. Yeah. There was a point where it looked like he was standing still and the other guy couldn't catch up to him. It almost looked like a Madden glitch or something. Pretentious Cameron, do you think Denver is going to go on a win streak? I don't think there's any reason to believe it. They played bad today, too. The Broncos played bad. They just won. They still look like a pretty bad team to me, and even their defense is falling off. They're giving up big runs now. They're getting shoot up on the by the running game. So even their great defense is falling off a little bit. Based on the current position of the teams, what positions would you use our draft picks on? I don't have enough information to really say that. Legends never die. Tony, Cody Barton playing better. I mean, better than the Detroit game. I don't know if he's actually playing good, but I don't notice him as often. He got shook by Saquon in the open field on one play, but it's Saquon, so whatever. Didn't Saquon take a couple snaps in the Wildcat because I think I saw him take a couple snaps? I don't remember. I don't feel like he did, but maybe he did and I just forgot it. I don't recall Saquon doing Wildcat. I know Walker had the one Wildcat snap. It wasn't just the shovel pass. That motion play they ran 3 to 4 times with Dallas was dynamic. The fake toss, naked bootlegs, even the fake changing the play for the direct snap to Walker, outstanding. Yeah, we looked well coached today. That's one of the main takeaways. We looked well coached. Charisma, thank you for the member message. 9 months membership. What surprised you most about this game? Probably the fact that we stopped the run and that they could and that we couldn't run. Like neither team could run the ball at all. That was shocking to me. That doesn't make any sense based off what we've seen. Maybe it makes sense with Seattle's defense because our run defense has been way better since we ditched the fronts. But for us to be unable to run the ball on the Giants defense feels like a complete curveball. Yeah, Nwosu played really well. Um, there were some plays, man, where you realize where this team misses Daryl Taylor. Like Daniel Jones literally standing in the pocket for 8 seconds. Big kick return for the Packers. His team is such a breath of fresh air, not having to worry about being as inconsistent as previous years and always blowing leads. It feels like you have a steady hand on the wheel that, as much as Wilson in his prime was considerably better than Geno is right now, it didn't even feel like that was the case then. Pete Carroll taking that penalty at the end of the game was kind of cringe for being on the field. Yeah, he's got to stop doing that. But whatever. Today, obviously, it didn't really matter that much. Yeah, Michael Jackson played the best game of the year for him, for sure. Yeah, Jarhead, and I think that the fact that the defense wasn't getting off the field on 3rd and 11 and 3rd and 12, I think a lot of that had to do with not having Darrell Taylor. He would have been in on those plays. He would have been getting some kind of push into the pocket. Man, Aaron Rodgers is not having a good time. Chase Stern talk about Ryan Neal. It's crazy how a safety can completely change the complexion of the entire defense because he affects both levels significantly. Ayush, what is Michael Jackson's contract? I think it's just a 1-year minimum thing. So him and Ryan Neal, by the way, are not going to cost that much. They're going to cost something, but I wouldn't worry about the cost that much personally. Do you think Collier? Oh, yeah, Collier. Collier actually played okay today. Collier was all right. What was up with that? That was wild. Batted down a pass, had a QB hit. You see us beating the Cardinals next week after what we saw today from the Cards and Hawks? I kind of do. I kind of do. That Cardinal, I mean, the one thing you could say for the Cardinals is that they're desperate, right? But that's not a good team. That's not a good team. Everything 12s. Will Tariq Woolen be the favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year after this game? Probably not, because good coverage metrics are something that I think people don't know that much about. They want interceptions, they want big plays, they want sacks, they want forced fumbles. Tariq gave up 1 catch in this game to my knowledge. But that's not something that's going to get a ton of attention from the voters, from the people who decide these things. So I'm not convinced of that yet. I think he should be, but I don't think he is. Jeff Lowe, teams seem to fear Tariq enough to test him. Big Game Fishing, welcome to the channel. Welcome aboard. Yeah, they only threw it to Tariq a couple times. And I think one time he got his hand on it. Actually, both times he might have gotten his hand on it and the receiver caught it anyway. It was kind of a fluke. Darius Slayton, I think it was. Tony, Trey Brown going to play next week? We don't know yet. No way to know that. David, I truly will go to my grave believing that Bruce Irvin put some much needed piss and vinegar in that D. He's not the only reason, but still. I mean, you can easily draw a correlation there, right? You can pretty easily draw a correlation. All right, guys, we just got to about 200 people hanging out in here. So, wait a minute. Can I not do it anymore? Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to buy a membership for a random person in here. If it pops up for you, just claim it. I haven't done this in a while. Nolan Stout, welcome to the membership club. All right. Welcome aboard. Nolan Stout, welcome to the membership club. Okay, there we go. I believe the Seahawks team will get 9 to 11 wins this season, probably meaning a 6th or 7th seed in a matchup with San Francisco or Minnesota. Do you mostly agree? Yeah, that sounds about right. Like, Minnesota's going to run away with that division now, I guess. Like, who's going to touch them? Green Bay's about to be 3-5. And A.J. Dillon just got hurt, I think. Right, guy, dude's been watching too much FUB. Legends never die. Every time we play in Arizona, we seem to always lose a key player. Win or lose, that stadium ended the LOB. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a concern, especially knowing that you're going into the game and DK and Lockett are not going to be 100%. Um, Honestly, the way Lockett played today, you can make a pretty good argument that he shouldn't have played if he's going to be that big of a drag on things. Maybe it would have been wise to hold him out. Now, I don't know if the injuries made him play bad, but I'm sure they didn't help. Like, Robert Henry worried about DK a bit. He still drops a lot of balls. I don't think he had. Did he have a drop today? What did I think of the LJ play? I didn't think much of it. It was a pretty good play, though. Don't think so? Yeah, I didn't think he had a drop. Leland Kimball, thank you for the $5. Showing some love. You and Hawks Nest deserve it. Keeping it excited with your content, and the Hawks make it awesome for us. That win feels good. Yes, it does. I like I said in my video, this is the win that should get people to start thinking, okay, this team is actually good. This team is legitimate. Wow, they're taking the touchdown off the board. DK had 4 drops. What are you talking about, C cameraman? I don't think he has 4 drops the whole season. Um, he dropped a corner route. Man, I don't remember that. I know there was that one play where he got his hand on it, but it wasn't a drop. Like, there's no way he was going to be able to catch that. It would have been a miracle. Are you talking about that one? Because I don't think that's a drop. Like, he barely got his hand on it. Brendan, do you think we should go in on a defensive end or linebacker by the trade deadline? I'm open to it, man. Especially linebacker. If you could upgrade significantly on Cody Barton, what is it about Pete Carroll's Hawks that causes them to start slow? I think they take things easy in preseason and training camp. So that first month to month and a half is like working their way up to full potential. That's the only way I can put it anymore because it happens every year and it doesn't matter what the defense is. It doesn't matter who the players are. Lately, it's been happening quite a bit. Man, this Packers offense is a nightmare. David Pugh, this kind of feels like the 49ers win the division. We end up as a wild card team. I'm cool with that. Well, don't count out the Niners to lose games they should win. Like, honestly, the 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback could lose to just about anybody. Don't assume that they're good. Emmett, you think we could get Roquan for a cheap price now due to the Bears' loss to the Cowboys? I think you're going to have to give up at least a third-round pick, but I'm okay with that. Maybe a little bit more than a third-round pick, but I still might be okay with that. If we don't go aggressive in the deadline, where do you see us spending big money this year? Probably the interior offensive line, maybe some defensive linemen. That would be my guess. Raj Ho McCaffrey could get hurt. Jimmy G turns over the ball. Yeah, that's the thing. Like McCaffrey, you know he's going to get hurt. He always does. Drop top. So you think Caleb Williams goes #1 overall? Yes, I do. I would be very surprised if he doesn't. But I always use this example. Spencer Rattler was supposed to go #1 overall once upon a time. So things change. Zario, Nwosu 2 sacks. He doing better than you thought? I'd say he probably is doing a little better than I thought. I liked him. I thought he was good. I was excited to get him. I thought he was going to be good, but he's been pretty great. So I guess I would say, yeah, a little bit. Russell Marqueux, yeah, and I think that we can beat the Niners now that we switched up the fronts. It's going to be hard to score in that defense still, though. Like, that defense, they completely shut us down in that game. And I know we're doing some things a little differently now, but it's still going to be really hard. Spencer Rattler sucks. Yeah, he does. It happened quickly, man. Life comes at you fast. E-Man, Hargrave or Payne in the interior, maybe chubbing a player for Burns on the outside. I mean, that's a lot of money you're going to have to spend. You are going to have to resolve a lot of this stuff in the draft. Don't forget that. Man in a pit, can we beat Dallas? That would be probably a low-scoring game, huh? I know it's just 3 games, but I really am biting into this defensive improvement because there are clear things happening that make sense that is causing this. Tony, if the Hawks make the playoffs, then Pete should get Coach of the Year, no doubt. Probably should, yeah. I mean, today was kind of the Coach of the Year bowl, right? And if the Seahawks win, then Carroll should have the advantage. With Ken Walker, do you think our chances are higher against the 49ers? It's higher. Still going to be hard to run on that team, though. They have such a good defense. Will Tariq break Brandon Browner's rookie season record of 6 interceptions? I'm going to say yes. I'm feeling it, Marcel. Although they are starting to not throw at him, which is obviously smart. Man, things are a little slow tonight. Usually we have over 300 people in here by now. Everybody's celebrating. Maybe there are Halloween parties tonight or something. I don't know. I haven't dressed up in a while. Ooh, good kick return. Austin, regardless of outcome this season, has been really fun. Most fun watching Hawks in a while. I know, right? This is fun. This is interesting. This is surprising. The sport is at its best when it can surprise you. Tony, they need a center over a guard. Blythe is okay, but he's a free agent, so yeah, you do need a center over a guard. You have guards who you can have next year easily. Cutting Gabe Jackson and putting Lewis back at right guard, what do we do at left guard and center? Center would just still be Blythe, hypothetically, and then Phil Haynes would be left guard. Nick Sirianni is currently the betting favorite for Coach of the Year. Yeah, that's the other guy it could be, right? Nick Sirianni. Well, here's the thing. The Giants are probably going to lose at least 7 games this year. They're not amazing. They're a decent team, but they're not amazing. They're probably going to win 10 games at most, I think. So their record is not going to look nearly this good by the time we get to the end of the year. Tony, I really want to go to the game next week. I live in Phoenix. Yeah, you should go. You should go. What was the last thing you dressed up as for Halloween? I don't know. Man, I'm thinking about it. I got nothing. My record prediction at this point is 10 wins. I got to reconfigure things a little bit, right? I got to reconfigure things a little bit after the way they've started. Doing anything special for Halloween? I'm going to do a stream on Twitch tomorrow of 5 nights at Walter White's. I don't know if that's special, but I don't think very many people in the world celebrate Halloween by doing that. Drop Top, who is the best college football player of all time? I always kind of felt like it was Tebow, but maybe it's Archie Griffin. Austin defense has been completely lights out, basically only allowed 6 points. Right. And again, against the Cardinals, we allowed 3 points. And against the Chargers, we allowed 3 touchdowns. One of them was garbage time, one of them was short field. So this defense has played an incredible 3 games. They might have the best 3 game resume of any team in the league. It happened so quickly. Did you see the Michigan State fight? No, I have not seen the whole thing yet. Hugh Coffee Seahawks should buy at the trade deadline. We should probably find one place to improve the team a little bit with a late round pick, right? Like, we should do that. Dave Casey, Jones avoided Woolen today. I noticed that. I think he threw at Woolen 2 or 3 times. We'll see what the official numbers say at the end of the week, but I think it was like 2 or 3 times. I hope he gets an opportunity to do another pick at some point. Caesar, does this one make you go trade for Shaq Thompson, Miles Jack, Elijah Moore, or Brandon Cooks? Something around 4th or 5th round cost. I am kind of motivated to get a Shaq Thompson so we have somebody better than Barton, yeah. But how much are these people going to cost? Remember, Carolina's probably a little delusional about their player value at the moment because of what they got for CMC being so ridiculous. They might think they should get more for Shaq. Q Coffee, when is the trade deadline again? It's November the 1st. Noosu played lights out on the Russian pass coverage today. I noticed there was that one play where he was defending Barkley in coverage, and it was cool. It worked. Which, I mean, at some point you're going to have linebackers covering running backs and stuff, but that was not fun to look at as the play was developing. Wow, man, Josh Allen. Did you see that Geno, Lockett, and Metcalf did their press conference all together? No, I missed that, Russell. That's cool. Seems like these guys like each other, which is more than can be said for some recent Seahawks teams. Derek, with the Bears losing, how likely you think Roquan gets traded, and do you think the Hawks should consider grabbing him? They definitely should trade him. I don't know what their plan is with him. It's like they think they can re-sign him long term, but that ship has already kind of sailed. So I think that they need to trade him. They should trade him, and I would absolutely get involved. It would have to be the right deal, but I'm willing to at least negotiate it. Tony, this team has a lot of energy. Yeah, they do. Amari Taylor, I think that's a reasonable option. I think it's a reasonable option to say we're going to keep Geno for a minute and we're going to rock with him and we're going to plan to take a quarterback later. Seeing Geno, Lockett, and DK having a press conference together makes me think LOB was right and Wilson was a locker room cancer in an indirect way. Well, he definitely was. The question with regard to all that is, was he doing anything actually wrong? Like what was the impetus behind them judging him like that? And that's the stuff that's going to be subjective and we'll never completely know all the facts. But there's zero doubt that a lot of these guys do not like him very much. Zario, do you think it's possible we get someone like a Will Anderson now that Broncos won today? No. That's what I said in my video I made right out of the game. I don't think so. I think that game was the pivot point for the Broncos between them winning 3 games and them winning like 6. I still think they're going to be bad. I still think we're getting a top 10 pick. I don't think it's going to be top 5 anymore. The way that it does get to top 5 involved teams like the Panthers winning today. We needed the Panthers to win today, and they blew it. Man, Josh Allen is a psychopath. That one hit by Bruce on Jones that made Jones fall into Barkley was so cool. Yeah, he timed the snap perfectly. Lock it with the TD leaderboard records. Oh, did he move up that list? Dr. Rish, do you think the Seahawks can win the NFC West with not going all in with the deadline? Yeah, because I don't think any other teams in that division are guaranteed to get hot here. Like the Rams just kind of look bad. The Niners are always going to be inconsistent because they have a bad quarterback. So yeah. Yeah, Lockett had a bad day. I understand he had a bad day, but still. And you know what? You're going to have bad days every now and then. If anybody's entitled to a bad game, it's Lockett. JB, do you think we should sign Melton from the practice squad? I don't think we need to unless somebody else gets hurt. Remember, Penny Hart's going to be healthy eventually. You Coffee, you hear the Broncos got offered first for Chubb? I kind of don't believe it. Who would offer a first round pick for a rental? For a 1 year rental? Like, think about it. When you remember, um, shoot, I lost my train of thought. Okay, I'm sorry. When you remember what the Broncos got when they traded Von Miller, a second and a third, I look at Bradley Chubb and I go, how is he worth a first rounder if either way it's a half a year rental? Cody Webb, honestly, there was three touchdown passes dropped, and without Lockett and that fumble, we could have smoked the team worse than we just did by far. Oh yeah, there was some stuff left on the field out there, but I got to give credit where credit's due. That Giants defense did play well. There were several plays in this game where it looked like Ken Walker was about to be off to the races, and then he got tripped up. And I just felt like if we replay that play 100 times, he scores a touchdown on 98 of them. But he just got tripped up. So I look at something like that and I go, I don't know if anybody's doing anything wrong here. It's just not quite working exactly the way we would want. I like how Broncos fans are clamoring for how Wilson played. Dude literally threw 11 touchdowns in 2 games before. Oh, yeah, I mean, he still played a mediocre best game against a bad team, although a decent Jacksonville defense. If that's all it takes to make Denver Broncos fans happy, then they probably could have achieved the same results with a much cheaper quarterback. Michael, Giants front seven is legit. Yeah, Leonard Williams gave us some real problems, man. It kind of felt like there was just this wall of defenders within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage every time we ran the ball, where it just felt like there was no getting past it. I think we just got to give credit where credit's due to that defense. They were able to shut down the run without sacrificing their integrity anywhere else. Jeff Lowe, that K9 shoelace tackle, just bad luck. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Drop top thoughts on Aaron Rodgers this year? I mean, he doesn't look like he can't do it physically anymore, but he's certainly not what he was. I don't know exactly how to evaluate him. Brendan, can you name me an NFL or NBA player to edit? Oh, NBA player. Let's do an NBA player. Let's do John Morant. Michael, excluding Drew Lock, Artie Burns. What do you mean, Michael? Jeff Love Rogers looks like he wants to facepalm into the turf right now. I mean, he doesn't have a single decent receiver right now because I think Cobb got hurt. So he's just got nothing he can trust. It's a mess. Dr. Rich, do you think John Schneider should get Executive of the Year if the six rookies keep playing well and the Seahawks make the playoffs? Oh, he should make Executive of the Year regardless. He should definitely get it just for the Wilson trade. He made one of the all-time great NFL trades through the first 8 games at least. Unless that completely flip-flops by the end of the year, then he should be Executive of the Year right then and there. I took a nap right after the stream until our game was about to start, basically. So I did nap, but I napped before the Seahawks game because the early game sucked. Fortunately, Broncos fans are already getting arrogant again. There's nothing to get arrogant about, man. That was a toilet bowl, and they came out on top kind of, like I said, it was kind of like random. Ultimately, that game kind of came down to random chance, it feels like. Which quarterback can do the not dumbest thing? And Trevor Lawrence threw a pick at the 1 yard line into triple coverage. That was the dumbest thing. Artie Burns was the only player that dressed it. Ah, okay. Well, I think you have to either trade him or Sidney Jones. You have to trade one of those two guys. Drop top, is the Seahawks home field advantage back? I'd say a little bit. Yeah, I think so. We didn't deal with any really bad calls today. We seem to have an edge in terms of pre-snap stuff with the Giants. Yeah, I would say there's definitely a home field advantage. If Trevor Lawrence don't blossom by next season, he's a bust. I am disappointed in him, but I think I blame Urban Meyer for a lot of this. Tony, Woolen got D-Hop covered. That's a fun matchup. That is a fun matchup for Woolen. Raj Ho, radar rookies 1 to 5. Oh. Cross is a 4. Lucas is a 5. No, they're both 4s. Woolen is a 5. Walker's a 5. Kobe's a 4. Maffei's a 3. Melton. Well, those guys haven't done anything, so I'm not going to say anything. Jeff, if we can pressure Kyler, he won't get a chance to make throws to D-Hop. Yeah, we need to crank up the pressure a little bit. It wasn't great today. A big part of it because of Taylor. I know Taylor's a flawed player, but man, today exposed that we need him. We do need him. This felt like a playoff game. The refs were good. 0 holding calls and 0 pass interference calls on either team. Wow, no holding calls? I actually didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Geno's projected stats are 41, 58 yards and 27 touchdowns. Does that include the rushing touchdowns? Because I think he's on pace for a couple rushing touchdowns as well. Ryan Neal has cramps. He's fine. I think Darrell Taylor had a hip injury. I have no idea how bad it is. But it was something he was fighting through when the week started, and then he went out after a couple drives. So probably he just couldn't go anymore on it. I don't know if I don't get the sense he aggravated it more. Have you ever seen Pete have this much fun? Maybe the USC teams? He's having fun right now. He definitely is. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to the stream, by the way. We got about 300 people in here right now. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. We need like 31 more subs to hit the October goal. You can become a channel member for $2 or $5 a month to gain access to perks. We need 3 more members to reach our member goal. You can also actually gift members. If you click on the dollar symbol, it gives you an option to buy a membership for a random other user in the chat. And tips in the form of super chats or tips help keep the channel going. Super chat by clicking the dollar sign in the chat. You can tip by clicking the link in the description. All right, let's see here. How does our defense look this much better? We should see Trey Brown next week against the Cardinals spread offense. That's a good point. It's a good matchup for him. I really think it was mostly the scheme change. They stopped using 2-man fronts on rundowns. They stopped using 2-man fronts when it was a neutral situation. They only use it now in obvious passing situations. And I think that changed everything. Now, it's really dumb that it took this long for them to change that. But whatever, we changed it now. That's the only thing that really matters. Giants definitely need receiver help. Our secondary wasn't really challenged today, especially deep. There was that one play we got beat over the top, and Daniel just overthrew him. I can't remember who the receiver was. Colts tanking. Think we could pick up Darius Leonard? No, Darius Leonard just got a big contract. If they trade him, they eat a massive amount of dead money. I'm sure that they're not going to do. So there's no way about that. We're not trading for Darius Leonard, I don't think. Roquan's the guy. Drop Top Twitch stream tonight? Yes. Samuel B, welcome to the channel. But yes, guys, I'm going to be on Twitch tonight. If you want to find my Twitch, the link is in the description. I'm going to be on Valhalla. Brendan M, special teams came in clutch today. Yeah. They kind of just dominated the special teams battle by standing there and not doing anything. They let the Giants make the mistakes. Well, it's not like they dropped the ball, right? Like, Disley forced the fumble. Who forced the other fumble? One of them was forced by Disley, recovered by Blunt. The other was recovered by Disley, but who forced it? Thank you, Ava. Appreciate it. Yeah. So we have a new channel logo. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but you probably have. So we finally have a logo for the channel. Homer, thank you. I mean, hey, getting Travis Homer back is having a big impact on special teams already, I guess you could say. His pass protection has been weird so far this year, though. I'm just going to be honest. Like, He seems like he's blown some blocks. Like that blindside hit on Geno. Homer missed that play, I'm pretty sure. Where do you think we stack up in the NFC? I'll take on anybody except probably Philly. Philly's really good. I believe in Philly, but I'll take my chances against pretty much anyone else. Homer also had that nice catch for 21 yards. Yeah. Big time catch and run. Big time catch and run. Homer went the wrong side. Yeah, he's usually really good at pass protection. He doesn't make mistakes like that. So, um, we know he's better than that. He's going to get better, of course. Will we be able to buy merchandise with your new logo soon? Huh. I'm going to have to look into that, Harrison. Because the issue there is how there are some concerns. There are some. I'm not going to get into the details right now, but there would be some concerns with that. I might have to. Switch things up a little bit before we get to that point, but I'll consider it. I really wish Penny didn't get hurt. Damn, we can be good. I know. Makes me sad. Penny deserved better. Penny deserves better. I feel for him. It sucks. Vudu, you called and predicted most of the game's outcome. Yeah, but I completely whiffed on the flow of the game. I thought both teams were going to run the ball well. Neither team ran the ball at all. Shimmy, as a Giants fan, I want to say good game and good job containing Saquon. It's really hard to. Hopefully this shows the Giants they need to trade for a big-time receiver. Yeah, obviously Daniel Jones is what he is, but he doesn't have a lot of help right now. Should the Hawks still consider grabbing a quarterback in the first round this upcoming draft? Sure. Depends on who's there, depends on your situation. Remember, we will be making a decision on Geno Smith before the draft. So we'll know what happened with Geno before we draft. Unless we franchise tag him and leave him in limbo, I guess. One thing you said about Cain when we drafted him is he will be a day one impact. You were right. Yeah, I mean, I would have really said that if I knew Penny was going to get hurt. I didn't think he was going to be the starter because of Penny, but I did think he was going to have an impact even from day one. Jonathan, thank you for the $2. Do you think 11-6 is unreasonable? No. No. Not based off what we're seeing right now. The team looks like they're actually good. The team looks like they're good. And frankly, a lot of the teams ahead of them in their schedule that we thought were going to be great don't look great at all. And Green Bay doesn't get the first, not even close. Wow, that kind of does it. Well, Matthew, I'm saying it's a possibility that you tag him with the intent of either giving him a long-term deal or trading him. Like maybe you tag him, but you don't make that decision until later. The Broncos GM still needs to trade Judy and Chubb. There's no way they can compete with the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. You know they're not going to do it, though, right? You know they're not going to do it. In their minds, any excuse they can make to keep pushing all in, they're going to take. Like them blowing it up right now would be a real disaster in light of the fact that they've already given away their top draft picks. So if they have an excuse to not hit the eject button, they're not going to. So they're not going to do that. Our final three games are going to be real rough if the Jets keep playing good. Man, I don't know. Like, Zach Wilson is so bad, and I thought Zach Wilson was going to be good. Hard for me to take that team super seriously with Zach Wilson at quarterback. Do you think we would match up well against the Cowboys? I have a feeling we might meet them in the playoffs. Um, Micah Parsons would destroy our tackles, but I think our defense would eat up their offense. So I think it would just be a low scoring, close game. I'm sorry, but Geno looks better than Wilson in his prime. No, he doesn't. Wilson in his prime was like, go look up his numbers in 2015 and 2019. Those are some of the best seasons of all time. Russ in his prime is better than what Geno's doing right now. Come on, guys, slow down. Tony, can Trey Brown play the nickel spot? Yes. I don't know if we're going to have him do it. Yeah, the Jets lost Brees Hall. James Robinson didn't do too much today. I'm going to be right back, guys. Everyone hang out for a few minutes here. I'm going to be back shortly, and we will continue on until the end of the game. Okay, I'm back. Voodoo Magic. Now we getting carried away acting like Geno's the GOAT. Yeah, just have fun in this moment. Enjoy this moment, guys, with Geno. I agree. You don't have to make everything you don't have to act like he's John Elway all of a sudden. Like he's playing well and we're winning with him. We don't need to take it too much further than that. Geno is doing the one thing that Wilson wants to do consistently, and that is stand in the pocket and throw. But even Geno isn't just passing 40, 50 times a game as it's not our offensive system. Look, this offseason is going to be interesting. Coach is probably going to come in and want to do a run heavy attack with the Broncos offense. Wilson's not going to like it. What happens? BK voiceover, thank you for the $2. Congrats on 10K. Top target at the trade deadline. I kind of like the Shaq Thompson idea, honestly. I'm really coming around to that one. Because Carolina really should have to give him away. Yes, he did, Eaglear. He's already up to 5. Oh, yeah, that was a big play, David. Chasing down Daniel Jones. I remember that. I was wondering where the defense was, and then it came from behind him. Shelby Harris played a good game overall, I think. He's become the force up front that we kind of needed, I think. That's helped a lot. Aguilar was fourth down. It was good for him to drop it. So not even thinking about that one. No, Owen Carter, we're going into Arrowhead. I don't think we're winning the game in Arrowhead. Panthers should be happy to just take Shaq Thompson and toss him to another team for free just so they don't have to pay him. Like we should give up our 5th round pick and they should give us Shaq Thompson. Like everyone wins. Eugenio, I thought Tariq's tackling was poor this game. I did too. But we kind of knew he was going to be a bad tackler at the first. Wow, Green Bay's defense keeps committing penalties now. Hawks fan, thanks to Pete Carroll, we got to see the Seattle Mariners play this far into October. I don't think I've ever seen a referee make a mistake like that. That was interesting. Eaglear, there was also this play at the end of the game where Collier batted a pass that was going to go directly to Michael Jackson's hands. Well, Collier doesn't know that, so he's just got to go with what's there. If Russell Wilson was drafted by the Jets and Geno was drafted by Seahawks, you think it would play out the same for them? Oh, of course not. I mean, there are some people these days who try to downplay the importance of Wilson getting to play with the number one defense 4 straight years when his career started, but that's a huge deal. That is something most quarterbacks would absolutely kill for. And I think people have forgotten how important that was to his initial success. Do you think we'll still be underdogs going into the game against the Bucks? Probably, yeah, Owen Carter. I think we will be. Vegas is going to take a while to give up on Tom Brady completely. Uh, what the heck? That was the most awkward lateral I've ever seen. Rough for the Eagles sounds like their rookie defensive tackle Jordan Davis will be out for a bit. Yeah, I heard about that. That's not good. Well, Josh Allen threw a bad interception. Rams Bucks next week. The loser will be in serious panic mode. And it will be too late for them to do anything at the deadline because the deadline will have passed. Seattle always plays better when they're the underdogs. I don't mind being an underdog right now. And with 5 Tony, put Kobe Bryant at safety. Seems like he's doing okay at nickel. I don't feel the need to mess with it. It's still not ideal, but he's doing fine, so I wouldn't mess with it right now. Yeah, Jason Myers bounce back season. I still don't know what we're going to do with him, but I guess this just proves that kicking is super random and trying to predict it is kind of a fool's errand, and sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. Geno wasn't just drafted by the Jets, he had to play for Rex Ryan. Talk about dysfunctional. I mean, there was a lot wrong with those Jets teams that derailed Geno's first couple years. I just thought it was probably too late for him to learn from that. I thought it was too late for him to actually become a good player, but it's almost funny now. The fact that he was floating around the league and anybody could have had him multiple times. And now we learned that all along he was a capable quarterback. Random question trying to pick out a movie for tonight, either Nope or Fall. I'm not sure I know what Fall is. I know what Nope is. I heard it's good. Probably that one then. Geno backed up a ton of amazing quarterbacks and I'm sure learned a lot, but starting at the Jets certainly didn't help, but glad he made it and is here. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with all of that. Being a backup to all those guys probably did help. But I remember back in the day, people said that about Peyton Manning. He had a backup named Curtis Painter, and the idea was, well, he spent several years learning under Peyton Manning, so Curtis Painter's going to be good. And no, he wasn't. Like sometime I remember everyone saying that, and then it ended up being proven not even close. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, Brock Osweiler is another decent example. Intercepted. Man, this Green Bay offense. You know what this year's doing a great job of? It's reminding you that football is not magic. All right? That's what I kind of like about this year so far. Football's not magic. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, and to a certain extent Russell Wilson, they can't just wave a magic wand and make themselves play good. They play good because they actually do the right things on the football field and go through the right progressions. They go through the right sequence of events to be a good player. It's not magical. And when they stop doing those things, they stop being a good player. So I think that's a really cool lesson for people to learn because I think sometimes you get so caught up in a player's mystique that you end up start thinking that everything's going to work out fine for this player. He's like got magical powers that make him great, but no, no, they got to do things the right way or else they lose like everyone else. Are there any linebackers in the upcoming draft that you think the Hawks should target? I like Trenton Simpson, Henry To'o the best. I don't think it's an amazing linebacker draft. Was just soaking in knowledge and being ready, especially for Seattle when the time came in his clutch right now. Looks great. Glad he's our QB right now. We got a pretty good thing going. We got a pretty good thing going. It makes you does it make you wonder about other previous quarterbacks that flunked out of the league? Wonder if they could have been good, like Blake Bortles, Brady Quinn. Does it make you feel like maybe they just didn't find the right situation? Oh, the Packers are going to be done. Ian Ali, LJ Collier did something today. Round of applause for him. Yeah, he did. LJ Collier did something today. Um, I guess everyone was healthy today, right? Let me think here. On the defensive line, everyone played. Did Miles Adams not play? Did Miles Adams get benched for LJ Collier? Maybe. I didn't see Miles Adams out there very much. Did we draft a wide receiver this upcoming draft? Possibly. I don't feel like we have to, but I'm open to the possibility. Miles Adams was inactive. Oh, really? So LJ Collier benched Miles Adams. I don't really like that. I like Miles Adams. I'm intrigued by him more than I am with Collier, but it might be a matchup thing. Who knows? LJ Collier is more of a big end. Maybe they decided he was more valuable to stop the run against the Giants than Miles Adams. Probably has a little bit of a superior pass rush ability. The Broncos could play great and still lose most of their games because their schedule is hard, so I have high hopes we get a top 5 pick. Well, if they keep things together, they're probably going to beat Carolina, right? Although Carolina's playing okay lately. Got to give them credit. But, I mean, even like they play the Raiders still. The Raiders suck. And I know the Raiders have talent. I know they're probably going to be in games, but they suck. You think Collier will even find another team to sign him this offseason? Probably not, Killer Kai. Probably not. What does he do that anybody would want? Tony, what do you think of Bo Nix? Seems all right. Not a big fan of the way his game will translate, but it's not the worst. Yeah, Austin, Huskies were off this week. I think. I hope they were. Seattle played good in the secondary today. Yeah, there was a lot of blanketing receivers. Like Jackson gave up a couple catches, but really good game overall. Would you coach on the Seahawks in some shape or form if offered, Brendan? Probably not, Renown Rivers. I like my profession the way that it is. I like my working life the way that it is. Do you see any team in the NFL with brighter future than the Seahawks, great young players and a bunch of picks coming next draft? Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Like who else is comparable right now? It would be probably like yeah, that's the thing. See, there are no teams with a super awesome rookie quarterback right now, right? Because all the rookies are bleh. In the future, would do a live stream while actually being at one of the Hawks games. I don't go to Seahawks games very often. There are people who do that, but there's no way I would stream the whole game. My phone would die. Brendan, if the YouTube stuff really picks up, could you see yourself doing it as a full-time job, kind of like a top billing or someone like that, and mix in film study? I might mix in film study if it blows up to that point, but I would never treat it as do a full-time job. It would never be my full-time job because it's too unreliable and inconsistent. Like I've seen so many YouTubers and content creators on the internet do this, where whatever they're doing blows up, and they think it's going to be that good forever. So they take on a bunch of expenses and bills, assuming that it's going to be that good or better forever. And then it gets worse for one reason or another that may not even be your fault. Your channel could get falsely flagged by bots. Twitch could decide to ban you for no reason. You could lose your ability to monetize because of something in the background of one of your videos that you didn't even notice. Like, so many different weird things can happen. So you don't want to bet your entire future on that. I'm not interested in that. What is my full-time job? I'm a software developer. How many wins does Carroll have now, brother Abe? You think Seattle will still draft a quarterback with their first pick? I'm starting to think they won't. The quarterback class is not as good as we hoped. A lot of the guys that we thought were going to be great fell off a cliff, and a lot of the guys that we were watching as a wild card did not manifest. Do you like Linux? I've used Linux ridiculously little. Last time I caught a fish, I did fishing for like I caught a squid a few years ago before COVID started. I remember that. 134, I think. Okay. Biggest surprise and disappointment through 8 weeks. Biggest surprise is probably Geno. Biggest disappointment is the Denver offense in general because I think they're still last in the league. Elijah Hall, do you like Hendon Hooker? Yeah, I like him a lot. 168. So he needs 3 more wins to equal Joe Gibbs. So do you think we can make Super Bowl with Geno? Should they give him a contract? Based off the way he's playing now, I think you have to conclude that he could, and you have to treat it with respect and sincerity that it could happen. You can't just assume it won't happen. You think DK is going to hit 1,000 yards? Probably, but I don't really care. All right, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. He probably will though. He'll probably have some monster game. Yona Yona Yafe, thank you for the dollar. I'm sorry, 9.99. Appreciate you. I appreciate you, Jonah. Thank you. All right. Thank you for the 9.99. Rayon Saqib, did you see Cup get injured? I did, but how bad is it? I didn't hear how bad it was. What if he pulls a Ryan Tannehill and becomes relevant for one season, then falls off a cliff? I mean, that's a possibility, right? But at the end of the day, you're going to have to do something, and everything you can do is a gamble. So you're just going to have to pick a gamble that you feel best about and go with it. Cup says he dodged a bullet, but MRI still coming. Yeah. Okay. Dak Swag, Brendan, we still haven't seen Geno run a 2-minute drill. Until that happens, he's not a franchise QB. Okay, let me try to be generous to Geno here. He did it against Atlanta, And then Damian Lewis committed a dumb holding penalty that killed it. He was first and goal at the 8, and then it got called back on the holding. So he came very close. I'm not going to kill him for not getting it done there. He did it, and then a penalty derailed things. Tan Fam, think we are going to win the division? I kind of feel like, man, you know what? The Niners have Jimmy G. They could lose to anybody. Yeah, we're going to win this division. Let's go. Jimmy G sucks. Nice win today. Yes, Miletic, it was. Militic. Where would you rank Pete Carroll all-time best football coaches considering his accomplishments? Well, who's ahead of him? Belichick, Lombardi, Noel, probably Joe Gibbs. Um, hmm. I don't know how to evaluate a guy like Curly Lambeau because he coached a billion years ago. Do you think the offsides penalty on Irvin was fair or BS? Initially, I thought it was BS, but I think he probably got over by a little bit. Niners schedule is so much easier than ours that even if they get upset a few times, I still don't think we hold them off. Well, that's God. I guess that's a good point, right? But let's think here. They still got to play the Cardinals twice. They got to play us once. They got to play the Raiders and the Chargers. Yeah, Andy Reid, Mike Holmgren. So I guess he's top 10, especially if you include college football stuff. Only one Super Bowl, but Tom Landry only won two. Bucks, Saints. Maybe the Bucks get it together by then. We'll see. I don't know. I think the Bucks are kind of toast. Grug. I'm starting to really like the idea of giving Geno a contract, draft guys like Murphy and Simpson in the first, maybe get some developmental QB in later rounds. Yeah, I'm on board with it. I'm completely on board with it, especially because 2024's QB class looks good too. Did that get caught? Was that caught? Bill Walsh, Don Shula. Yeah, there we go. Not Sean Payton. What's Sean Payton done? He's won one Super Bowl. Carroll's done that too, but Carroll was a great college coach too. Oh, that's a drop. Kind of realized today that Bruce Irvin was probably really missed that 2020 season. That's a really good point. That's a great point. That was Daryl Taylor's rookie year too, so Taylor wasn't playing, but Taylor absolutely could have been a positive influence on Taylor off the field in terms of like technique and stuff. Yeah, Neil's fine. Neil's fine. This win week felt even better than last week's win versus the Chargers. Pretty incredible run for us last 3 weeks. Well, that's kind of the nice thing. It stacks, right? The way you feel kind of stacks on itself. You have two first round picks. You take a quarterback with one of those with all the good ones coming out. Well, the thing is, there might not be as many good ones as we thought. Like CJ Stroud's awesome. I still love Will Levis. Bryce Young is hyped. But after that, Anthony Richardson's not coming out. DJU's probably not coming out. We know the USC dude Caleb Williams is not coming out. There's one other high profile guy who's likely not coming out. KJ Jefferson, only if your offense suits a player like him, and most offenses don't. So it's actually not great. Guys that I thought were going to be like Will Rogers, he's interesting, but you don't need to spend a first round pick on him. Okay, Packers touchdown. Game is not over yet. Ah. On the defensive side of the ball, who should the Hawks pick in the first round? I think the name to watch right now is Brian Bresee, Miles Murphy, Jalen Carter. Those are the names I would watch. You guys okay with this? Me leaning back like this? What do you guys think? Can you guys still hear me? The microphone's a little further away. Can you guys hear me okay? I had this chair for a while now, but I completely forgot it. You can lean it back. You can recline it. Yo. Even though we only gave up 3 sacks, each one hit like a bullet because of the scenario. Yeah, and whereas we got 5 sacks, on the plays where we didn't get sacks, it felt like we had no pressure. It was a real struggle for us to get consistent pressure in this game. And even though we got 5 sacks, I'll bet our pressure numbers are not great. BK voiceover. At this point, it's really just Young, Stroud, and Hooker, and I don't think we'll be bad enough to get any of them. I want to like Levis, but I just can't. McKee on day 2. I think you could get McKee on day 3. Yeah, Daniel. Our defensive end struggled to get pressure on 3rd and long. I think you saw the effect of not having Daryl Taylor. If we had Daryl Taylor, that wouldn't happen. I was there for Chargers and Seahawks, and it simply felt Seahawks ran over the Chargers. They did. They absolutely did. Yeah. I really thought we were going to be able to do that to the Giants, and I still don't know how that happened. Giants' run defense is atrocious, and we couldn't run the ball on them at all. Nothing really worked. We tried to run it to the outside, to the inside. Nothing worked. It felt like they just kept winning a chess match over and over and over again, and we never busted the big one. Wade Richards, what would be your ideal spot to draft a quarterback if we keep Geno? I wouldn't even think about it until the 3rd round. May 4th would be ideal. What do you think a trade package would look like for Geno Smith if we resign him and trade him in a year or so? 2nd round pick. Especially if you then have to pay him. That one tall dude, what are the chances the Hawks don't draft a QB at all? I'm sure they'll draft one at some point, but they might not draft a starter. They might draft a depth player. What would we do if Shane Waldron gets a head coaching job? I guess hire Shanahan or McVay's next apprentice. Yeah, I guess that's all you can do. You could hire the right wide receiver coach. He's been good. You could hire Nate Carroll. Pete Carroll's son could be running the offense. How about that? The media needs to stop comparing Geno to Wilson and praise Geno for what he's doing for the Hawks. I mean, the compare it works either way. Geno comes out looking really good when you're comparing him to himself and when you're comparing him to Russell. Well, remember, Drew Lock is a free agent, so even if they like him, they might lose him. It's possible. Gagnon, welcome to the channel. Welcome, John Gagnon. And I think we are 29 subs away. We still have all of tomorrow, but it's going to be tight to make this sub goal. I kind of remember that, Renown. That may be what he meant at the time, but the plan may have changed. Like, what if John Schneider was a huge Will Levis fan and now he's not? Like, maybe they would change their minds. Maybe they were a big CJ Stroud fan, but it's become clear you're going to need the number 1 pick. What could we look for in the 1st and 2nd if we defer the QB pick to the 3rd round? Linebacker, defensive line, interior offensive line, mostly that. All right, guys, should we trade up in the draft to get Stroud? I think it's going to be too much. I don't think you need to. No, I don't really want to. Brother A, what do you think about what Dig stated about the D with understanding things and figuring it out? I've said it before. I think the main thing this defense is doing that's different is they got rid of the two-man fronts on neutral downs. I think that's the main thing. But the players are playing better individually, there's no doubt. But Wilson hasn't played a snap in 11 games, including preseason. Why is he still brought up every week? Geno is our leader. Well, people are going to be hung up on the Wilson thing for at least a couple more years. I think we all know why. It's not unreasonable. I'm not angry about it. Oh yeah, Sons of Patriarchy, but he's not sneaky anymore. Hendon Hooker's not sneaky anymore. Everybody knows who he is now. He beat Alabama. He blew out Kentucky. Like, that guy may go in the top 15. And he's going to be like 26 years old. So Hendon Hooker has played himself into, I think, a first round pick guaranteed, even though he's old. One second. Robert, hope we stay focused against Cards. Biggest fear because Hawks won. 3 may get complacent. Got to remember Cards division rivals never easy, though we won earlier versus them. Yeah, I will admit, looking at this game, it does smell like a little bit of a trap game. 90s hippie. Did you see Josh Allen has a hand warmer sewn into his jersey? No. That's pretty cool. Renowned Rivers, is Clint Hurt making a good case for his job? So far, seems pretty good to me. I just want to know who was behind the two-man fronts because that was never going to work and it was obvious. Why did we ever try that, man? It was bizarre. First down Green Bay. I'm sorry, first down Buffalo. Eugenio, who do you think is the best first round QB from the 2021 draft? I still think Trey Lance would be really good if he could stay healthy. So I guess I would say Trey Lance. I don't see it as a trap game. Our offense wasn't great against the Cards and we gave up 5 sacks. Yeah, but we've got a 3-game winning streak. I feel like this team's feeling really good about themselves right now. They could have a trap game. No, Killer Kai. The rankings for QBs this year would be wacky. Like, I'm not going to even pretend to try to figure that out. Are you worried about the Cox D going against the Cardinals because of how well D Hop is playing? Not really. Our secondary is handling their business right now. The thing I would be worried about with them would mostly be their defense because their defense got a lot of pressure on Geno and played well against us in the first game. Should be a 5-game winning streak. The refs against the Saints had other plans. That's a good point, Ayaan. That game was an absolute garbage pile of officiating. Also, they have a kicker now. Oh, yeah. No, Nathan, I didn't go to high school. I never went to high school. Trent McD... Wait. Isaiah McDuffie. Excuse me. I don't know why I was going to say Trent McDuffie. I said this earlier, but do you think our players have become more disciplined or have the refs become less trigger happy? I imagine more disciplined. Playing crazy is something you can get away with when you're super talented, but we don't have the Legion of Boom anymore, and these guys need to learn how to play more disciplined. And of course, a guy like Woolen was going to learn on the job. I didn't think he was going to learn this fast, but that was always going to be a process. One thing I feel confident in now is that our defense could get off the field and give our offense the ball again, unlike the Packers right now against the Bills. Yeah, I just wish we could get a little bit more of a pass rush going, but part of that is injuries. Like, we're missing some guys who would be generating pass rush for us right now. Do you think D Hop and Robbie Anderson make a significant enough difference? Oh, it's a difference for sure. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's a difference. I don't think it's enough to swing the game single-handedly. Wow, Buffalo personal foul. Do you think Week 15 versus the Niners will be for a playoff spot? Oh, that's a good one. That makes sense. That could happen. All right, I'll go with that. I'll go with that. The problem is the Niners swept the Rams, so they're going to have an advantage in the divisional record. So if it's a tie, then you would just hand it to the Niners, right? 90s hippie, why you got our old logo as your background? I like it. What's wrong with it? Everyone still knows what it is. Concerning what, Will Jensen? What did Pete say about what? I think we need a hybrid pass rush, one down, then cover tight end type of linebacker in the draft. I don't know if there's any in this upcoming draft. Trenton Simpson and Henry To'o To'o are my guys. I'm gonna say that. Those are my one and two guys. Trenton Simpson is more like a safety type. He's more like a hybrid safety linebacker. I think he's going to be really good. But we could sweep the Rams and the Cards possibly. Yeah, but it's going to be hard. Like, Shanahan always shoves McVay into a locker. We can't say that about our matchups with the Rams. Oh, okay, well. I did actually see that then. Okay. I did see that. Who ends up with the most sacks at the end of the year for the Seahawks? It seems like it's going to be Nwosu. He's the healthiest. He's the most consistent. He's on the field the most. I think it has to be Nwosu. Even though Taylor's a pure pass rusher, it doesn't feel like he's going to be on the field enough. Will JT from Ohio State be a top 15 pick? Can we get him in the draft? I'm not familiar with JT very much. I'll have to look into that. All right. I think the Packers are out of timeout, so this should be over soon. Can we stop playing Ken Walker in the final drives of games and having him just smash into people for zero gain? I thought about that. Like DJ Dallas did not get a carry today. He might have caught the ball once, but I don't think he got a carry. Just give him the ball a couple times, man. Spread the love. Hey, Ryan Snags, what's up, man? Yeah, big win. Big win. Which interior lineman can we trade for? I made a video about this the other day. Honestly, I would just pick up Quentin Spann out of free agency. Killer Kai, what did DK do? Concerning what? You might have already answered this, but regarding where Pete ranks as an all-time coach, do you put him above Tomlin? Yeah, he has to be above Tomlin. Tomlin's won one Super Bowl, so is Pete, but Pete's done all the stuff in college. And Pete did all the stuff even before he was at USC. That's way more than what Tomlin's done. Why can't DK catch? I don't think DK had any drops today. He makes occasional drops, guys. That it just is what it is. He wasn't made in the lab. His hands were not made in a lab. That's part of the DK experience. Man, I am tired. I think I'm going to get on Assassin's Creed after the Sunday night game, but I am tired. Josh Allen rollout, looking. Wow. He whistled that right over the receiver's head. That was a game ender, and he just missed. Flag, though. Which two moves would you do before the deadline? I would trade Sidney Jones and then trade for Shaq Thompson. Leo, it's got to be the Bengals, right? Ineligible, okay. If the Browns lose, do they join the Sellers Club? I mean, they would probably only sell Kareem Hunt, and which they're already trying to do anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. I don't know. Walker gives off durable vibes, knock on wood, but I see him being relatively healthy. I mean, as a running back, you're always going to miss some games. You're always going to miss some time. But if Ken Walker can play in like 15 games in a year, he's doing his job. Okay, that's a fair catch for the Packers. And last gasp. They're only down 10, I guess. All right, guys, the stream is only going to have a few more minutes left in it because I'm going to turn it off when the Sunday night game ends. We have like 250 people in here right now. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me tonight. So, last opportunity to like the stream, become a sub, become a channel member, or donate via super chats or tips. If you would like to support, those are the best ways. Bruce Griffin, do you see us as a top NFC team after today's win? We're certainly well above average. Certainly. I was about to say, how is it already 4th and 7? Rogers check down because throwing it to my tight end at the line of scrimmage is going to save the day. Steelers have a lost season. Any Steelers players you would pick up? Yeah, Devin Bush and Miles Jack would definitely be two guys I look at. I didn't see too much of anything else that they would be willing to part with, but those two guys they might be willing to let go. Thank you, Neil Lamont. I think Brady retires next year, Leo. He's having the year from hell. Why come back? Well, here's the question with Devin Bush. Would he be better than Cody Barton? And I feel like the answer is yes. Eugenio Ford, what are your thoughts on Pickett generally? He seems okay. I'm not enthusiastic about him, but he's okay. I don't know, Daniel. It's hard for me to believe teams are going to learn that quarterbacks shouldn't be making this much money. And remember, at the end of the day, the thing that matters is as a coach or a GM, are you going to give in when your quarterback asks for the big money? Most quarterbacks, the answer is going to be yes. Noah Fant is so mad. I'm waiting for him to have a monster game and it's not happening. I mean, we don't throw to him that much because we utilize all our tight ends the way we do. It's kind of a feature of this offense, I think. I don't think any one tight end can get fed too much because you use all of them so much. So I don't know if it's going to happen. Teams are going to still spend money on QBs because they're the face of the franchise. Yeah, it's like an addiction. It's just hard to get off the addiction. I've heard pay Geno 20 25 million a year. I think you're going to have to give him more. If he keeps playing like this, you're going to have to give him more. Like you might push up near 30 million a year. And given the way he's playing, I'm not even like that I can't even be upset about it. Like the way he's playing, he's absolutely worth that. The only reason why he's not making max money is because of his reputation. His reputation is bunk. If it wasn't for that, if he was just some random guy who came out of nowhere and played like this, not the guy who got beat up by a teammate in training camp, not the guy who washed out of a bunch of different cities already, he would probably be getting 45, at least 40. I think his reputation makes him more like 30. Jimmy G got 25 mil a year after having four okay games with the Patriots. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Until teams learn that quarterbacks just shouldn't be getting these contracts, they're going to keep doing it. Do you think the Vikings are contenders? They look like world-class pretenders to me. I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're as good as their record. I think they will ultimately make the playoffs and probably win one game, but they could just as easily not. I like the way their offense is working compared to previous years. Thank you, In Utero. We have indeed hit 10K. Do we sign Geno now? No, Killer Kai. We should see what draft picks we have. Like, what if we end up with the number one overall pick? Then we can just say, okay, we're getting CJ Stroud. And then we let Geno go. But if we end up with like the ninth pick, we're not really going to get a great quarterback that we love. Maybe we decide, okay, let's lock up Geno and use that pick on Miles Murphy or something. Dumb question. Can we franchise tag Geno? Yes. Maybe we do that. That is possible. It wouldn't be a bad idea to do that and then try to you do that and then you try to extend him or trade him after tagging him. Thank you, Tyler. Third down. Should we be happy or angry 49ers beat Rams? It kind of is what it is there. Okay. Packers not completely sunk yet. They got to score quick. Would he be our prime tag, though? I think so. I mean, look, it would suck if you tagged him and then got stuck having to give him the tag money, but who says that happens? Like, you don't want to Dak Prescott the dude, but if franchise tagging him is what's best for your team, then yeah, sure. Do you think that the Bucks losing next week will make our game harder because they'll be so desperate? Yeah, that's kind of why I'm worried about next week's game. Arizona's got to be kind of desperate, right? Arizona's like in water struggling. But if you're going to be a good team, you have to be able to overcome things like that. You have to be willing to go in there, play mistake-free football and find a way to get it done. Even though those situational things may be against you a little bit. Those things are always going to be there potentially working against you. 43 seconds left. Yeah, David, today was the first time Geno got blindsided by a blitz, and that may have been Travis Homer's fault. I don't even know if that was Geno's fault. That may have been Travis Homer. I play a little fantasy skills. My team is terrible this year. I got Kyle Pitts and Keenan Allen. It's been bad. Ooh, well, not even close on that one. And Green Bay goes to 3-5. Wow. So Tampa Bay and Green Bay are both 3-5. Yeah, Kyle Pitts had a good game today, but it didn't matter. Herbert was out, so I had to play PJ Walker as my quarterback, and he did okay, but eh. Thank you, Leo. I appreciate that. So many drafts have us taking the cornerback with our top pick. Why would we do that? Yeah, I don't get that. So yeah, now guys, now that I have the new logo, by the way, I'm gonna do some like metal art, and we can do giveaways with it. And I'm thinking about maybe doing a banner image. I need to think about what kind of banner image I might do. But I'm thinking about commissioning a banner image for the channel because the current one is just kind of stock standard. All right. Buffalo wins 27-17. Good news for us, I guess. The NFC gets weaker and weaker. So, tonight I will be on Twitch. If you want to watch me play Valhalla, go over to Twitch. The link is in the description. I may not be there immediately. I have a couple things I need to do, but I do plan on being there later tonight. And tomorrow, back to your regular schedule. All right. See you guys. Go Hawks.